Good morning, students. Today we are going to learn about function. Let's define function. Function defined horizontal. A relation f defined from a set A to a set B is said to be a function if every element of the set A has one and only one image in set B. Mamangda koina relation habis to define tawgreba. Relation amasida function ama onge haitaragadi every element of set A se yamdrabada unique image amamam laigadabako. Sumain taraga relation ahum pireko relation 1 set A set B. A is related to E, B is related to F, and C is related to F. Sigi kesida elements of set A se A B C ni ko. Element of set A B C se image loin le. Image of A is E, image of B is F, and image of C is F never ko. Doi taragadi kuna kay korani. This is called a function since every element of the set A has one and only one image. Image amamam khatang laigadaba. Duga if A is mapping to E, A habasina E siga map tawraga laitaragadi, we said that f of A is equal to E haina irakaneba if this relation is a function. Function orakana suma iraktareko. F of A is equal to E. Then second case tamuyanga say set A and the set B. This one is related to 4 and the 2 is related to 5, but 3 is not related to any element in set B. Sigi 3 have element CD set B gi element amataga relate tawdreba aduna sigi relation 2 se. Relation given in Roman number 2 is not a function. See function oiraroi. First case a function niko. It is a function. Tuga second case the function oibra oidre. It is not a function. Sima the function oidre ko kaigino haitaragadi sigi 3 sa image pangdre, but there is no image of this elementary in set B. Then number 3, check the relation given in Roman number 3 is a function or not. Function oibra, function oidabra check torasika. Elements of set A 1, 2, 3 and elements of set B 8 and 9. First check this one. This one is mapping to plus 8 and a plus 9. I check 1 does map with 9 does map which implies that this element 1 has two different images. Image kya laire ani laire ko 8 haibamga 9 amaga image ani laibyade. Do 2 city Canada map tore 9 the 3 se Canada map tawi 8 the map tawi ko aduna sigi function se the relation given in Roman number 3 it is not a function se function am oiraroi function oidabagi maramdi kaigino haitaragadi nangi single element 1 se sigi image kya legre ani legre ko function am oige haitaradi image amamam khatang legadabne Roman number 4 relation yengse ko element ABC. A is mapping to S, B is mapping to S, and C is mapping to S. Every element of set A has one and only one image. Image se ama katalaire, but they have the same image in this case. Sigi case sigo ina the image se manare mo myam se Canada map loin tore S ta loin map tore ko. Adubu nang relation se the function oibagi definition do mana sida kaidawi satisfy tore. Every element of set A has one and only one image. Yamdraba the image amamamdi laigadabako. Aduna sida piriba Roman number 1 ne, Roman number 4 ne function oire, aduga Roman number 2 ga Roman number 3 ga sidi function natre ko. Aduna function ga relation ga se kaida khenai haitaragadi every function is a relation, but every relation may not be a function, and function is a special case of relation. Function habise kaino relation amani karam kanda oigani every element of the set A has one and only one image. Yamdrabada magi image amamam laibu oigadabako. If f is a function from set A to set B and the other pair A comma B belongs to F, then koina kama irakani f of A is equal to f of B. A se kanada map tarongani this element 1 is mapping to B, which A have say B the map togani was mine A say E the chat padawna A say B the map togani ko, where B is called the image of A and A is called the pre-image of B under the function f. B sina image kogani A sina pre-image kogani. The function f defined from set A to set B is denoted by f colon A tends to B. Function na mahaibase sige representations talakani ko. Write small letter f colon A to B where A sina kay kawi domain kawi ko, B sina kay kawi codomain kawduin. Example function or biaba function kara lawar si ko relation si f x comma y. If have a relationship the order pair x comma y where y is equal to x square, where x and y belongs to natural number. X and y is any natural number oiba matamda nangi second element se kaina p square of the first component. Then all the other pairs belonging to this relation f will be equal to if x is equal to 1, y is equal to 1 square. If x is equal to 2, y is equal to 2 square. 4. If x is equal to 3 and the 3 square is equal to 9. So mind the other pairs mamam yaraniko. Aduna nangi x haiba ma natural number de yabu khudingi natural number gi square de dum lainiba. Aduna 1 is mapping to 1, 2 is mapping to 4 and 3 is mapping to 9, 4 is mapping to 16, which means that every natural number is mapping to its square, and so it is a function tareko. Number 2 case f order pair x comma y is equal to x plus 1, where x and y belongs to natural number and x should be less than or equal to 5. Possible values of x kaino harakanda all the natural number which are less than 5 neba kana oibe yare dudi x 1 oibe yare 2 oibe yare 3 oibe yare 4 oibe yare 5 oibe yare ko. If we put x is equal to 1, y will be equal to x plus 1. 1 plus 1 is equal to 2. X is equal to 2, y will be 3. X is equal to 3, y will be 4. X is equal to 4, y will be 5. And if x is equal to 5, y will be equal to 6. And this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 5 other pairs will belong to this relation f, and every element of the domain. Every element of the domain has one and only one image layer. Sige Roman number 1, Roman number 2 sa kanagi example ore. These are examples of a function. Function na magi ko na example ore na lore ko. Now let's define domain, codomain, and range of a function. Nangi function na magi domain ne, codomain ne, range ne kamay define tawduno yang asi. Let f be a function defined from a to b. Sumaina pire ko be a function defined from a to b, then a is called the domain and b is called the codomain of the function. Sigi a sa sina domain kawi, sigi b sina kai kawi codomain kawi ko. And the set of all the images of elements of the set a is called the range of the function. Nangi set a ama laitaragadi magi image kara laiganeba. Image me amduna punjilaga semiba set to kai kawani range of the function kawni ko. Then example, let us consider any two sets, set A and the set B, whose elements are 1, 2, 3 and 1, 4, 9 and 6. Define a function f from A to B. Define is. Here the nature of the function is fx is equal to x squared for all x belongs to A. This x belongs to set A and this x square will belong to set B. Sige x in a set A diabo oigadab, x square in a set B diabo oigadab ko. fx service kaino fx represents y, second component oidineba. If we put x is equal to 1, the f of 1 haitar the 1 square tare 1 square 1. Since 1 belongs to kana diawe set B diawe ko. F of 2 square 4. 4 belongs to set B. F of 3 square 9. 9 belongs to set B. Then 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3 have a element ahum segi image loin laire ko. Therefore, the other pair belonging to this relation f will be equal to 1, 1, 2, 4, 3, 9 sidare ko. And so the domain of the function is equal to 1, 2, 3 set A tare. Codomain is the set B itself and the range. Range is the set formed by the image. Image means second component. Second component are the image of the first component. So write the set formed by the second components of the other pair belonging to the function f. They are 1, 4, and 9. Semagi image taraneba 16 haibase akoina set b da yaw taragasu 16 se kanamtagi image oide ko duna 16 yawra aroi hauzik domain codomain range kangi ko. Now let's define some functions and their graph. Functions karaga magi graph ka define tarase. Let capital R be the set of real numbers and a function f R defined from R to R defined as f of x is equal to x for all x belongs to R is called the identity function. Number 1 gini ko. Number 1 types of function gi. Number 1 type is identity function. A function f defined from set of real numbers to set of real numbers defined by nature of the function fx is equal to x for all x belongs to R is called the identity function. Haibadi nangi x se x masada map tawraba means real number kudimak se real number masada dum map tawraga leiram taragadi that kind of function is called identity function ko. Identity function की graph इंगना कोई order pair कर लवर्से fx हाइबसे कहीं y नि को here find some order pair satisfying this equation y is equal to x y की x का चप मानबा right x and y if x is equal to 0 y will be 0 x is equal to 1 y 1 x is equal to minus 1 y will be equal to minus 1 so main pito ko Didi kwana sigi se plot tore. By plotting these coordinates in the Cartesian plane and by joining these other pairs, we get this straight line. This straight line which bisects first quadrant and kana bisect the third quadrant bisect the Then find the domain and range of the identity function. Identity function the minter is every real number is mapping to itself. Masa se masa to map to do 1 ram 1 se kanada map to 1 2 layramadi kanada map tawgani 2 da ko and so the domain of the function will be R since every real number has its image real number kudimak sa magi image laygani and range will be the set of real number domain so R tare range so R tare ko next function constant function a function f defined from R to R is said to be the constant function if y or fx is equal to c for all x belongs to R this x will be in R. R means domain and C is a constant. C is a have a constant. A constant is the real number mo positive zero negative ko. Sige function se fx is equal to C. Every function se nangi constant amaga tu manaraga laitaraga that kind of function is called constant function ko. Draw the graph of y is equal to C. Y is equal to C means for any values of x, value of y se always C pangani ba. Do see graph se ye in a kaliko. See graph se paganda when x is equal to 0, y see x is equal to 1, y see x is equal to minus 1, y is equal to C. Then graph kya pange? Graph ahum pange ko. Kay ki pangi no hay taragadi. Then x na any value of paganda y se constant ta do neba. If y is a positive number, the graph of the constant function will be like this. If C is a negative number, C is a positive orakan, is a negative orakan, the graph of the constant function is a straight line below the x-axis. If y is equal to 0, the graph of y is equal to 0 is x-axis itself. So main taraga ko na graph se kya pange ahum pange ko domain of the function is equal to R. Domain of the function is equal to R means every real number is mapping to the same constant C. Chap manaba constant amada to map taro leramaniba. Next range of the function. Range se magi image se C khakta mo pangduini ko. Range of the function is a singleton set having element C only. Next, define number 3 polynomial function. A function f defined from R to R is said to be a polynomial function if for each x in R, y or fx is equal to a0 plus a1x plus a2x squared plus a3x cubed plus anx to the power n where n is a non-negative integer and a0, a1, a2 and an belongs to real number. Real number dil yauragadi means they are all real number oiragadi. Sigi function se kai kaurani polynomial functions kawe ko. Habdi fx is equal to a polynomial. Polynomial amaga manaragadi. Such type of function is called polynomial function. Example Example, f is a function defined from R to R defined by fx is equal to x squared plus 2 times of x plus 1. X squared plus 2 times of x plus 1 is a polynomial. Polynomial haidi kainos the variable ma'am se positive loy oigadaba ko magi power se fx is equal to x to the power 4 plus 1. So minus polynomial or nilagpa function sing se kai kawe polynomial function kawe ko. The domain of the polynomial function is set of real numbers and the range of the function it depends on the nature of the polynomials. Nature of the polynomials the define the mangona depend tawgre ko. Polynomials function hai si tongan ba mayam laani. Duga domain di always kay tani R tani. Next type number 4 rational function. A function f defined from R to R is said to be a rational function if fx is equal to g of x divided by hx. gx divided by hx for all x belongs to R. Sigi x domain day lobo oigadabni ko, where gx and hx are polynomial functions of x and polynomial functions of x. Height x ka gx ka se polynomial functions ni, and the denominator height x not equal to kay gamana vyade 0 ga ka. Duna sigi polynomial function haibasida na rational functions haibasida kaino rational function se koina rational number se command define the way rational number a number that can be put in the form of p by q. P by q gi mawang the thambaya number se rational number ni ko. Siga chap manana rational function hai tardi fx hai function se gx divided by hx the thamaba, where gx and hx are polynomial functions of x and this hx not equal to 0. Hx 0 tabya dekho. Example f1x f of f1x is equal to x squared plus 1 divided by x minus 1. Here x squared plus 1 represents the function gx and x minus 1 represents the function hx. Polynomial the polynomial amna dividable function neba. But x minus 1 have a karam kanda 0 fangi, since the expression x minus 1 is equal to 0 when x is equal to 1. X na 1 tardi 0 salikwa. And so f of 1 function is not defined when x is equal to 1. So x cannot be equal to 1. So minus x kay gamana vyade 1 gamana vyade. Second case the f2x x1 x plus 1 whole square divided by x plus 1 into x minus 1. Sigi expression je kay gamana x square minus 1 tai ko. X square minus 1 is factorized into two factors x plus 1 and x minus 1. Since the denominator x plus 1 and x minus 1 becomes 0 when x is equal to 1 and minus 1. X in a 1 taraba natragi x in a minus 1 orakana nangi denominator se kay chatli 0 chatli ko. Any number amada 0 na divide to se kay fangi infinity fangi ko. Infinity have se kay no a real number amnate baduna x in a 1 taraba x in a minus 1 oragadi magi image pangaroiba. Then f2 have a function sida f2 have a function sida 1 minus 1 do not have its image under the function f2. 1 ga minus 1 ga di magi image layroiba ko. Aduna sigi x 1 ga manabe ade x kay ga manabe ade minus 1 ga manabe ade. So the domain of the rational function is given by x. X belongs to set of real numbers and height of x not equal to 0. Nang height of x kay ga manabe ade height of x is not equal to 0. Height x 0 tadaba x to kaktang khangalakani ko. So domain of the function f1 nang sa x kay ga manabe ade not equal to 1 tagi ko. Maramdi kay gino when x is equal to 1 denominator becomes 0, and so the image of x is equal to 1 does not exist. Magi x na 1 taba matamda magi image exist tawdaba maramna sigi x kay ga manabe ade na lawsilani 1 ga manabe ade maramdi kay gino 1 gi image pangdeba. Domain of the function f1 is x. X belongs to R, but x not equal to 1. X kay tabe ade 1 tabe ade ko. And so the domain of the function f1 will be set of real number minus 1. 1 lawthokhineba. Nangi f1 na define tawba magi domain oibiyaba set sa karamba set tayay R minus 1. R minus set may containing minus 1. Set of real numbers kudima magi image toy laygani kari khatang layroy 1 khatang layroy ko. Next, domain of function f2. f2 the dx ki oibiya daba value se 1 layre amana kay layre minus 1 layre ko. The domain of the function f2 will be x. X belongs to set of real number, but x cannot be equal to 1 and not equal to minus 1, and therefore the domain of the function f2 will be equal to r minus kay subtract tawgani set ama subtract tawrani set to the kana yawgani plus 1 ga minus 1 ga yawrani. Sige na ko na rational functions ki layre ko. Next question number 5, modulus function. A function f defined from R to R is said to be the modulus function if y is equal to fx equals to modulus of x. This modulus of x is equal to, kamay define the way x, if x is greater than or equal to 0. Nangi x na 0 day sawa natraga 0 ga manabo iba kana modulus of x x taniba. If x is less than 0, this modulus of x is equal to minus x oiniko. For x belongs to R. Mana minter se kaino. If x is equal to 2, modulus of 2 se koina 2 taiba. If x is equal to kai piraba minus 2 piradi modulus of minus 2. Sigi minus 2 is a negative number oibanina this negative number should be multiplied by another minus 1 and minus minus plus 1. Modulus already plus star is a kaigino. Plus already plus adum iro. 0 oragana 0 iro. Negative oitaradi and atopa negative on a multiply togane duga minus minus kay lakan gani plus size lakan gani ko. Define taraga koina kay define tare. Modulus function is defined tare. Now draw the graph of the modulus function. The equation of the modulus function is y is equal to this modulus x. Find some other pair satisfying this equation. When x is equal to 0, y will be equal to 0, x is equal to 1, y will be equal to 1, x is equal to 2, y 2, x is equal to minus 1. Modulus of 1 is 1, x is equal to minus 2, modulus of minus 2 is plus 2. Order pair by plotting these order pairs in the Cartesian plane, we have these two lines. Line ani phange ko. The sigi ahanbagi is na karamba graph no. This is the graph of y is equal to x, and the graph in second quadrant is the graph of y is equal to minus x in a y plus x y so positive oiba sina x na negative oibagi graph ni ko adu ka yawe 0 haiba sig yawe. Then domain and range of the modulus function. Domain is the set of real numbers. Set of real numbers or is a every real number has its image under the function modulus function. Modulus function habasida magi real number kuding maki image loin laigani ko. Then range haitardi koina modulus function di nangi y gi value se positive loin tani. X ina domain da doini ko, y gi value sina do range bi doini ba. Duna nangi range se x belongs to R, but x is greater than or equal to 0. Nangi image ma'am se 0 taba natraga 0 dagi chawbe henba positive real number nga to oini duna range is equal to x belongs to R, and x should be greater than or equal to 0. Sumain pangi ko. Next type is type number 6, signum function. Signum function is defined tarasika. A function f defined from set of real numbers to set of real numbers is said to be the signum function if y or fx is equal to 1, if x is greater than 0 and 0, if x is equal to 0, and if x is less than 0. Fx की value से -1 तारेगा for all x belongs to R. Signum function hai se kaino every positive real number is mapping to 1. If x is equal to 0, 0 is mapping to 0, and x is less than 0 means every negative real number is mapping to -1. Real number se positive or 1 the map taramani. 1 the map tawa means magi image se 1 tani. X in a 0 or 0 oitardi ma 0 the map taurani ko. Dugi x in a less than 0 or less than 0 means negative real number oitaragadi kanada map tauramane. They are mapping to -1 niko. Aduna other pair kare laurasi find some other pair satisfying this function. Nature of the function x and y. X and y fx have say y tadoni ko. When x is equal to 1, 1 is a positive number ni 1. X is equal to 2, 1. X is equal to 3, 1. If x is equal to 0, y will be 0. X is equal to -1, -1. X is equal to -2, -2. Nana negative already -1 the one chat can positive already +1 the chat leko. Duna sigi graph se ek to graph. See the graph when x is equal to 0, 0 tare. 0 ko. When x is equal to 1, 1, x is equal to 2, 2, x is equal to 3, x is equal to 4, and there are infinite number of real numbers in between any two natural numbers. Natural numbers ani sigi marakta infinite number of real numbers lairibana. These infinite numbers are mapping to kanada map tawani 1 the map tawni ko. Atugi graph se asina represent tawre. This graph represents y is equal to 1 equation ni ko. Second the sigi graphs in a k represent the way y is equal to -1, and this point represents the graph when x is equal to 0 and y is equal to 0. So my targa graph se part home thong na kaido eko. Domain of the signum function is R. Domain of the signum function R tarise kaigino every real number has its image to ilaigani ko. Range range of the range I the image oigadaba. Range is the set formed by the image of elements of the domain. Range hai taragadi nangi element mayam se nangi elements of the domain se kanada map tawi -1 ne 0 ne 1 ne set amada element kya khatang yaure element ahum khatang yaure ko -1 ne 0 ne 1 ne sina domain ni sina kai tare range tare ko. Last type numbers type से 7 ni ko 7 gi se kaino greatest integer function. A function f defined from R to R is said to be the greatest integer function if y is equal to fx or x enclosed within third bracket. X enclosed within third bracket where x belongs to R silere ko. Sigi x से third bracket की manung de thamisa kai represent away is the greatest integer less than or equal to x harine. This symbol represents the greatest integer less than or equal to x. Y is equal to greatest integer of x mana minter se kaino x in a integer amo eramaga the integer oro. X in a integer nata taragadi greatest integer less than or equal to x adu the less than x tagi hantaba khandoi ko. Sigi case the x and y. X is 0 oitarade y 0 chatni. X is 0.1 niko. Kuna sida integers represent or represents all the integers on a number line like this minus x and x dash 0 plus 1 2 3 4 minus 1 minus 2 minus 3 ito equal 0.1 sida laini 0.1 dagi hantaba kwai dagi chawba integer se kaitane 0 0.1 is mapping to 0 then 0.5 swaida lerni 0.5 dagi hantaba kwai dagi chawba integer se kaina find the integer greatest integer which is less than 0.5 which is equal to 0 0.9 0.9 de hantaba kwai dagi chawba integer se kaino 0 se lere ko. If x is equal to 1 x is equal to 1 since 1 is the integer oitardi 1 is mapping to 1 integer or the integer masajita neba 1.2. If x is equal to 1.2 find the greatest integer which is less than 1.2. Greatest integer sa kana ore 1 ore ko 1.5 is mapping to 1 1.9 is mapping to 1 sumai phangani. If x is equal to 2 y will be equal to 2 chale ko negative term ngase when x is equal to minus 0.1 lies in between sida laiduni ko sigi point se laitaradi mangondagi hantaba khwaidagi chawba integer se kai ore -1 then -0.5 -0.5 se sida lairani sisuma kanagi marakta laini -1 na chawba henduini ko -1 si irakada then -1.1 sida laiduni -1.1 sidagi hantaba khwaidagi chawba integer se kanano -2 then -1.3 smain la ani sisu -2 tare ko -1.9 -1.9 ba koi chatkani -2. If x is equal to -2 then y will be equal to -2 smain taraga khina greatest integer gi function sa sigi mong de lawe the graph e when x is equal to 0 y will be equal to 0 0.1 0 0.51 0.9 about 0 tai ko. When x is equal to 1 y will be equal to 1 tar dinang graph is the chat kreba duna sta ina dot iri sing se maton thangba saruk se yaute ko the cross mark ne end point sing se yaudre. The graph of the greatest integer function will be like this sigi mong de chatlani. Then write domain and range of the greatest integer function. Domain of the greatest integer function is R. R means all the real number has its image. Image range will be the set of integers. Set of integer means all the real numbers is mapping to all the integers. Real number kudimak sa kanada loina map tarongani integers ta loy map tarani. Isna last time ni ko greatest integer function. Let's define real valued function. Real valued function sa kaino se define terms. A function is said to be the real valued function if it has either R or one of its subset at its range. Haibadi function ama real valued function kauge hai taragadi magi range se set of real numbers natraga magi subset oigadaba ko. Duna sigumba type ki function se kai kore real valued function. For today let's end here.